It started with a longing for more, an insatiable curiosity that drove me to the edge of human capability. Technology had finally reached the point where surgery could unlock new dimensions of color for the human eye. Hues invisible to us before, they said. It was supposed to be beautiful. And it was, at first. Post-surgery, the world transformed into a vibrant canvas. Leaves shimmered with an iridescent glow. The sky radiated with shades beyond the spectrum I once knew. The colors, like music for the eyes, sang a melody of existence I had never experienced. I was enchanted, bewitched by the newfound beauty that surrounded me. But as the days turned into weeks, my wonderment began to fade, replaced by an unease that settled deep within my bones. It started subtly, with flickers at the edge of my vision. At first, I dismissed them as my mind adjusting to the new colors, but then I saw them clearly. Children with completely black eyes, their gaze piercing through me as if seeing into my soul. And in the clouds, humanoid figures danced, their movements slow and deliberate, casting shadows that felt almost tangible. The air around me grew thick with an eerie sensation of being watched, an omnipresence that was both suffocating and unexplainable. Fear gripped me, cold and unyielding. I sought help, hoping that what I saw were mere hallucinations. The doctors reassured me, attributing my visions to the side effects of the surgery, promising they would pass with time. But they didn't. The visions grew stronger, more vivid, more insistent. I began to see things in every corner of my life, phantom figures lurking in the shadows, strange creatures flickering in and out of existence. My reality was crumbling, fragmenting under the weight of these sights. Medication dulled the edges of my fear but couldn't erase the images etched into my mind. My world became a fractured mirror, reflecting truths I wasn't meant to comprehend. Friends and family looked at me with pity, their belief in my sanity eroding with each passing day. Others who had undergone the procedure seemed untouched, their visions untainted by the horrors I encountered. I felt isolated, adrift in a sea of colors that had turned against me. Desperate for understanding, I found a therapy group for those struggling with the same surgery. It was a small gathering of individuals seeking solace in shared experiences. The group facilitator, a calm man with kind eyes, insisted our visions were not real, just figments of our overstimulated minds. He, too, had undergone the procedure and claimed to see nothing out of the ordinary. One evening, during a particularly difficult session, I glanced towards the corner of the room and froze. There on a chair sat a man over 2 meters tall. He was impossibly thin, dressed in a formal suit, with a cane and a long top hat. His presence was both absurd and terrifying, as if he belonged to a different era or a different reality. He nodded along with the facilitator's words, his gaze unwavering, his demeanor calm. My heart pounded in my chest, a frantic rhythm of fear and recognition. As I sat there, paralyzed by the sight, I noticed another member of the group, a woman sitting opposite me. Her eyes darted towards the tall man, widening with unmistakable fear before quickly looking away. In that fleeting glance, our eyes met, and I knew she saw him too. My breath caught, my heart skipping a beat. This was not a hallucination. This was real. The revelation was both liberating and horrifying. I wasn't alone in my torment, but the confirmation that these beings existed outside my mind shattered any remaining hope of escape. The man in the top hat continued to nod, a ghostly overseer of our futile attempts to rationalize the irrational. Leaving the therapy session that night, I felt a shift within me. The world around me was the same, yet irrevocably altered. I knew now that the colors I had longed to see came with a terrible cost. They had opened a door to a realm humans were never meant to enter, revealing a reality interwoven with ours yet fundamentally alien. Walking home, I noticed other entities that sent chills down my spine. Silhouettes with elongated limbs glided across the street, their movements unnaturally fluid. At the edges of my vision, small, insect-like creatures scuttled along the walls, leaving trails of glowing residue that pulsed with an eerie light. In the park, a tree seemed to breathe, its bark rippling like the surface of a disturbed pond. And the worst were the shadows. Amorphous and dark, they crept along the ground, whispering secrets in a language I couldn't understand, but felt deep within my soul. As I lay in bed that night, the shadows in my room seemed to shift and writhe, shapes forming and dissolving in the periphery of my vision. The man in the top hat, the children with black eyes, the figures in the clouds, they were all there, waiting, watching. I closed my eyes, hoping for the oblivion of sleep, but knowing deep down that some doors, once opened, can never be closed.